Famous media theorist Marshall McLuhan once commented that the last thing a fish would notice in its environment is the water. As this part of the course uncovers why we are largely diverted from investing in positive social relations, we must open our eyes to the cultural waters that surround us. We will see that today's predominant culture is, in fact, using almost everything a culture can use, everything in its power, to divert our attention from the benefits of positive social relations and the natural human need to develop them. It probably won't surprise you much if I say that key themes of today's Western society are status obsessions, narcissism, compulsive consumption, materialism. Yet, I'm not sure to what extent we notice the psychosocial effects of our culture. And there are vast effects. No matter what kind of person you are, being exposed to hundreds and some say even thousands of ads a day pretty much creates your norms and determines what you aspire for. For instance, look at how advertisements are becoming more and more superficial, linking products to our lowest primal urges like sexuality, power, violence. Look at how goods are considered more and more of a status symbol rather than a functional tool. It's not impossible for us to notice those things. However, what we usually fail to see is the cumulative effect, the longer view, of how a new status quo is created over time. How new norms and standards are shaped by culture as if pervading our minds below the threshold of our awareness. And all of a sudden, it becomes legitimate for bankers to openly practice extreme greed, for companies to ignore their contribution to ecological catastrophes, for beauty industries to exploit little girls by manipulating their self-esteem and selling them illusions of unattainable beauty. Or for the average American child to watch over 200,000 violent acts and 16,000 murders on television by the time they're 18. It's quite shocking. So, you see, because we are constantly being bombarded with this instant gratification patterns, it's becoming difficult for us to even pursue the notion of true happiness. It's as though we've lost hope for attaining happiness. Things like meaning and purpose are making way for anything that smells like immediate pleasure, instant gratification. In other words, our motivation to life and aspirations are being reduced to this cyclical chase for material acquisitions, for symbols of status, for ways to reinforce our ego, and so on and so forth. Remember that deeply rooted survival instinct we all have? Well, it is turned on by signals that come from the environment. What do you think happens with the kind of signals we get today? As we mentioned, the constant acts of violence, exploitation, narcissism, all the rest of it. So is it really unexplainable when we see teenagers going on shooting rampages in our schools, or bullying turning into an epidemic, or depression becoming the world's leading cause of disability? I think what escapes our criticism the most is that the current cultural mindset is fighting away our drive to engage in positive social relations. Because from the moment you brush your teeth in the morning to the moment you go to bed at night, you encounter so many cultural signals in different circumstances confirming that you have to be self-centered in order to make it, that everyone else is like that too. On the road, standing in line, it could be at work, school, even some personal life coaches today will tell you that on your way to thrive, you just might have to promote your self-interest at the account of others. All that said, the point of this session is not at all to discourage you. It's rather to help you see how the notion of human connection is left on the sidelines in our culture, while it's actually the most natural and intuitive thing for us to aspire to. And as we've shown elaborately in previous sessions, it scientifically boosts your well-being, your health, your happiness, your success in life. So if we understand how vital this is for us, the next thing is we have to learn how to take control of our day-to-day environment. Simple.